Now, as we all know, horror has always been one of the best genres in Hollywood, and horror is where a lot of people make names for themselves. And horror films of the past have always been good. Some have been terrible, but most have been really good. And the 2000s were an era of remakes and reboots, pretty much. And the I'll say the late 90s were the teenage slasher type movies with Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and all those copycat movies. And I'll say that from the early 90s to maybe the 70s or whatever was the slasher boom with Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, Leatherface, those iconic slashers. Now the 2010s, that was the start of a new era in horror where we no longer needed a established franchise, where we no longer needed reboots, where we no longer needed slasher icons to save the day. We no longer needed teenage slashers to save the day. Now, the 2010s was the start of a new era in the horror genre where we no longer needed to rely on the slasher icons. We no longer needed to rely on the teenage slasher movies. Now, we had movies like Midsommar. We had movies like The Witch. We had movies like Hereditary. We had movies like Get Out. And that's just to name a few. But those movies really set the stage for what is now the golden age of horror films. Now, the slasher genre has changed tremendously over the past few years, and with the Scream franchise still going on, with I Know What You Did Last Summer, we are doing requels now, which they established in Scream 5, I believe, and that is when you bring back the legacy characters and usher in these new characters. And that is how you do it. You bring back the old characters so people can come and see this new cast that you're trying to build up, and then you move on with the new cast members while the legacy characters end up unfortunately getting killed off. And we're also getting new slasher icons like Art the Clown from Terrifier. Those three movies are just balls to the wall full of gore, but they are great films. And Art the Clown is a crazy slasher, and he is the most funniest slasher I've ever seen, in my opinion. He's funny as hell, and he has become an icon, and pretty sure we're going to be getting more returning icons like Jason. Hopefully we get Freddy down the line, but Jason is going to be making a return very soon. Now, we also have returning franchises like the Evil Dead franchise that is at its highest right now, because Evil Dead Rise was a very good movie, and the start of this franchise going more horror was the Evil Dead reboot, which is one of the greatest horror films I've ever seen, one of the best reboots ever. And that was when they went more horror and they knocked it out the park. And now we have Evil Dead Rise that came out. It's too good of a freaking horror movie. And now we have another one that is most likely to come out next year. And we also have the horror films that are mostly original ideas and original content, like Longlegs, X, Sinners, Talk to Me. Those are just a few. I know there are more, but those are the films that I remember right now. But films like that are making a big name for themselves, and we're getting more of that than ever before. And even the smaller films, a movie called Dangerous Animals with Jai Courtney was great. That movie was freaking amazing, and I wish that movie would have got more hype, got more of an advertisement, because that movie was also good, and it was also original. I haven't seen anything like that before, and that is where we at right now. Most of these horror films are shit that we haven't seen before, and that is great. And that you can do that with the horror genre. You know what I'm saying? And we also have Weapons that just came out. Weapons right now is my favorite horror film of the year. It was Sinners, but it is now Weapons. And we also have franchises from the past being the best they've ever been. And we also have icons that are going to be making a return, like Jason, hopefully Freddy one day. But everything is just coming together. Different eras of the horror genre are coming together, and that's why I feel like we're in the golden age, because most of the stuff that worked back then are still gonna be here today, and the new stuff that works today, or the new original stuff that people like, they're gonna also have that as well. And that's why I feel like we're in the golden age, and hopefully we continue this big horror boom, dog. This is the best. After seeing Weapons, I had to really say to myself, like, damn, we are witnessing something great. But that's all I gotta say. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe.